2. Test 1 2. Testing 1 2.
It's not going to work because there's no plugged it and I turned it back, y'all. Yep, we didn't change anything. You still got a hum? I turned one up. Yeah. Is it better now?
Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. Check.
What's that? Oh, you gotta wait 30 seconds. Good now? Okay. I don't know about that bad stream. I'm gonna turn.
check 1-2.
Welcome to tonight's afternoon contest between your Tabor College Blue Jays and the Bethany College Swedes. In conference, the Blue Jays are coming in second at 14-3. In conference play, 22-6 overall. Bethany College at the bottom of the standings, 3-12 in conference, 7-21 overall. We're going to go quickly through Bethany's starting lineup. Leading off, number 13, designated hitting Alex Martinez. He has a .250 batting average. Batting second, number 4, playing first base, Tyler Horcham. He's batting .284 in the year with 1 home run. Batting third, number 23, playing third base, Luis Duran. He's coming in, batting .339, 10 ribbies. Batting cleanup, number 24, playing left field, James Duval. He's batting .307 on the year. Batting fifth, number 36, catching Braden Shrivner. He's batting .288 with 20 ribbies on the year. Batting sixth is number 15, Mike Lowry, playing shortstop. Batting .301 on the year with 1 home run. Batting seventh, number 8, Joseph Kelleher, playing right field, batting .245 in the year. Batting eighth, number 7, Brandon Gonzalez, playing second base, batting .205. And rounding out the lineup is number 17, playing center field, Justin Bailey, batting .210. Pitching for the Blue Jays right now, Tony Horn, number 11. And on the broadcast right now, we have Reagan McLeod, senior Blue Jay pitcher, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about what Tony has in his arsenal.
Tony's primarily a fastball guy, needs to establish a fastball early to get ahead in counts and generally try to stay ahead in the count. He'll attack with the slider late in counts as well. His only issue this year has been command. A lot of strikeouts and a lot of walks. Key for Tony will just be honing it into the strike zone and attacking early with the fastball.
Absolutely. As Alex Martinez right there, Tony Horn did a good job getting him to ground out to second baseman Christian Stone. Tony, a transfer coming in. What does he do? You know what he tops out as velocity-wise?
His fastball will generally run between 86 and 88. He can run up to 89 every once in a while. Slider lower 80s. It's a hard slider. And at times he'll come late in games with the changeup, 75, 76 mile an hour.
As you see him right there up to bat for the Swedes is number 4, Tyler Horcham, the first baseman. And as you see, is it really quick? Is it really important for him to throw strikes early on in the count?
Well, generally when your fastball is coming in that hard, you have the freedom to attack early with it, get ahead in counts, so you can work that slider in later. For Tony, obviously, he's throwing pretty hard. Attacking with the fastball early, he can have some confidence with it, and if he's getting it by for strikes, then he can attack with that slider late.
And right there, as you see, as Horcham grounds out to Christian Stone again, so really quickly, Tony Horn has 2 quick ground outs to start the top of the first inning. Up to bat now for the Swedes is number 20. Beg your pardon, number 23, Luis Duran, the third baseman. So very quickly here in the first inning, 2 up, 2 down. As Horn is working from the windup right there, fastball in the outer part of the plate. Moore is a junior transfer from Muskogee, Oklahoma, by way of Highland Community College here in Kansas.
2 JUCO teammates facing off against each other in this at-bat.
Oh, good breaking ball there. So can you tell us a little bit about his breaking stuff? I know you mentioned they need curveball and slider. Does it more 12-6, or does it come in at a different angle?
He throws both, but he typically attacks with the slider mostly early in games. It's a fairly side-to-side slider. Again, he throws it really hard. A lot of sliders will have a little bit more loop and kind of fade out of the zone a little quicker. Tony's is a little harder, generally trying to get swings and misses with it.
And they're on the 0-2 count. Tony Horn comes in with the fastball after going off speed the previous pitch, and he strikes out Duran looking. So 3 up, 3 down here on the top of the first inning. We're going to go to a quick break. The Blue Jays are coming up. We are back here in the bottom of the first inning. Leading off is Freddie Walker. Freddie is batting a crisp .356 on the year, 17 runs batted in. As a team, the Blue Jays are hitting .294 on the year. I beg your pardon, they're hitting .312. Bethany is hitting .294 in the year. First pitch from Bethany, their pitcher, Braden McAllister. He's a 5.27 ERA on the year, 0-2 record. Real quickly, we'll go through the Blue Jay lineup. Leading off, as you see, is Freddie Walker. He's playing center field. He's wearing number 4 jersey. The Blue Jays wearing their blue home jerseys, Tabor across the chest in white. So Freddie batting first. You got Jay Nalsaw batting second, number 2. Playing left field, number 23, Cameron Pope. He's playing first base. He's batting third. Hitting cleanup, Jason Wallace. He's playing third base, number 42. Number 16, Gage Axline is batting fifth. He's designated hitting. Batting sixth is the catcher, Dominic Vicentine. He's wearing number 8. Batting seventh in the lineup is Ben Van Diest, number 22. Batting eighth is Drake Gerard, and rounding out the order is number 9, Christian Stone. Pitching, as we've already mentioned about, is Tony Horn. So Reagan, the Blue Jays had lost a lot of good hitters last year, just to name a few, Abdil Alisea and Jackson Hoagie. So who in the lineup has stepped up for the Blue Jays? Freddie Walker's flies that to right field. It should be an easy play for the right fielder. So who in the lineup has really stepped up for the Blue Jays this year to have this success that they've had early on?
Well, I think you've got two guys at the individual positions with Yo-Yo and Jackson that stepped right in and replaced him. He's not in the lineup today, but Matt Johnson, after suffering an injury a couple weeks ago, was hitting in the low 400s before he was injured, playing good defense at shortstop. So he's been pretty quickly able to step into Yo-Yo's position and take it over. And then you look to right field, Ben Van Diest, 6 home runs on the year. He's been our main power guy, especially on our field with a short right porch. You'd have to assume that Ben will continue with the power streak. And then if you look a little further, Cody Steinman playing some right field, hitting really well, provided a lot of clutch RBIs in both the Oklahoma Wesleyan series and the Avila series. So you've got 3 guys right there that have stepped in and been able to fill some roles.
They've been major factors early on this year for the Blue Jays as Jaden Alsop dumps that one into no man's land in between the shortstop, center fielder, and left fielder. He's on first base with a single. Cameron Pope, who's just had an absolute monster year so far to this date. He's batting .457, 5 bombs, 36 runs batted in. He's leading the team in average and RBIs. And he's going to face off against the lefty McAllister, who's on the mound. He's from the stretch now as Alsop's on first, as Pope pops that one up right behind home plate. It is playable for the catcher, Scrivener, who retires Pope. There is 2 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Jason Wallace, he has some serious pop in that bat. Had some contact issues early in the season, but he's hit 2 home runs in the last series. Against Southwestern. Had 2 home runs in back-to-back days. He really brings a lot of power to this Blue Jay lineup as he drills this one deep to center field. Center fielder back, and he's able to make the catch on the track. So there's 4 up in the first inning for the Blue Jays. 1 hit, no runs, no errors. We go to the top of the second.
James Duvall.
Leading off the top of the second for Bethany is the left fielder, number 24, James Duvall. On the season, Duvall is batting .307, 18 runs batted in. Tony Horn, a couple of statistics on him. He's only pitched 12 1/3 innings on the young season. He has 11 strikeouts in those 12 1/3 innings pitched. 8.76 ERA coming into today's action with a 1-0 record. First pitch is a ball. He's working from the wind up. Fastball in, fouled off to the right side, out of play. Blue Jays defense from left to right starting in the infield. Number 42, Jason Wallace playing third. Number 50, Drake Gerard at shortstop. Number 9, Christian Stone at second base. And number 23, Cameron Poe playing first. Nice breaking ball in there for a strike by Horn. He really has that pitch going on well for him here in the first part of the game. Had a strikeout to end it, freezing the hitter with a fastball after 2 great breaking balls. Another breaking ball there, and the outer part of the plate just misses outside. Blue Jays in the outfield, number 2, Jaden Alsop in left field, Freddie Walker's in center, and Ben Van Diest in right field. Behind the plate for the Blue Jays, Dominic Vicentine, the veteran catcher. Brings a lot of leadership to this team. Another breaking ball, weakly hit to the second baseman, Christian Stone. Bobbles it for a second, and he's unable to get Duvall at first. So an error there by Stone allows the Swedes their first base run of the game. Reagan McLeod again back here with me. Blue Jays went through a lot of turnover in their starting pitching staff, losing a couple of key starters last year. Brandon Wetnight, who was lost due to injury, and also Mitch McIntyre, who had a stint in the Brewer system after graduating here at Tabor. What has the starters who have replaced those two done well, and who are they?
Well, you looked at Derek Watts, the main reliever for the Blue Jays last year, stepped into a starting role this year and has done nothing but eat a lot of innings and strike a lot of people out. I don't think that was necessarily a difficult transition for him. He was used to going long stints out of the bullpen, but transitioning into a starter, he's done a good job and won a lot of big games for the Blue Jays. But then you also have to look at the people who've replaced him in the bullpen. Hayden Wheeler has 17 innings out of the bullpen this year, leading the team. He also has struck out 26 batters and only walked 9, so you know he's doing his job and coming into the game and getting strikeouts with runners on base, which has led to a lot of wins for the Blue Jays.
That is an impressive strikeout per 9 innings, well above 9. And Derek Watts, a Colorado native, has really done a good job here. As a fifth-year senior, I believe he's getting his master's this year, still playing with the team.
Well, he will be back next year. He's a fourth-year junior, graduated in the winter this year. Will complete this year and then play next year with the Blue Jays as well.
It's good news for Blue Jay fans out there. As Horn working from the stretch, 1-1 count here on Braden Shrivner, the catcher, is batting .288 as Duvall leads off of first. Wind blowing in from left field. Overcast day. See a little bit of blue in the sky, but mostly cloudy as the ball's ground up the middle. Christian Stone under his glove, and the runner was going on the play. He's going to be able to advance to third. Runners on the corner here with nobody out. The Swedes threatening at the top of the second inning.
That's what you hope with a hit and run. You put a runner in motion, you really hope that you can just put a ball in play on the ground, and that's exactly what happened.
And the Blue Jay defense has been pretty solid this year for the most part. They've had a little bit, as you said, Matt Johnson, who's been the day-to-day shortstop. He's hurt. So there's been a rotating wheel at shortstop. As we saw, Drake Gerard, Will Clark, and also Jordan Fowl started that position over the past week.
Well, you look at every starting infielder, 3 of them have played multiple positions this year, starting multiple games at multiple positions on the infield. Drake Gerard has started at second, third, and short. Christian Stone has started at second and short, and Jason Wallace has started at third and first base. So you got a lot of turnover there, which it's difficult to maintain good defense throughout that.
And it's really important. It says a lot about the players and their utility, their versatility. Will Clark, as a third baseman last year, played some shortstop this year. And as you mentioned, all the other players just being patchwork jobs at second, short, first, and third. We have a pinch or courtesy runner, I should say, at first base, number 99, Zach Meyer for the Swedes, a senior from Texas, is running for Shrevner, the catcher. Swinging a miss there. Batting is number 15, Mike Lowry, batting just above 300 on the season. It's a 0-2 count for Horn. You really need him to have a ground out or a strikeout right here with nobody out. Runners on the corner. surprising not to see the corners in right here.
Not necessarily too surprising. I think you want to have them give a little bit of space in case of a double play opportunity. The last thing they want to have happen is another situation where there's a hit and run, the ball gets hit to somewhere a defender isn't, possibly score 2 runs.
Blue Jays second in the conference receiving votes. Second in the conference behind Oklahoma Wesleyan, who's ranked number 13th. Blue Jays lost 2 games out there with a heartbreaking third game that decided the series. As Lowry pops this one up, Christian Stone is going to go into shallow right field. The runners will hold. So really good job there. And really, Tony Horn's breaking ball has been on early in the game. Is able to get Lowry lunging at that one to pop it up to Christian Stone.
Now, Horn's breaking ball is it's designed to get balls hit onto the ground. When you're throwing a harder slider like that, you're not going to have as much vertical break. It's more horizontal. The idea is that the ball will, generally still get put in play, but be hit a little less hard and hopefully on the ground, which is what we've seen so far.
Up to bat is Joseph Keller. He's going to be able to single that one into left field. A run will score. Runners will be on first and second with 1 out. The Swedes take a very early 1-0 lead here on the top of the second. Ball was not hit entirely too hard, just found its way through the hole between shortstop and third base. Brandon Gonzalez, the second baseman for Bethany, up to bat. He's batting .205 on the year. 1 home run, 12 runs batted in. Horn will be working from the stretch. First pitch, beg your pardon. Keeping the runners honest. The Blue Jays really this year on the base pass, as always, they've been really tops in the nation. They're very aggressive when the Blue Jays get on base, and it's really special to see them run with such aggressiveness.
Well, I think it's a combination of elite speed and really focused and attentive base running. The big difference that I've noticed personally this year is that, it's not just the stolen base numbers, which are top in the nation, but then you also look at some of those things that don't show up on the stat sheet, such as taking extra bases on balls in the dirt, reading the catcher as he throws back to the pitchers, taking bases that way. It's a lot of unorthodox ways of advancing on the base paths that has provided some runs.
And just a quick comparison between Bethany and Tabor College, as that ball is skied into right field. It's going to be over Van Dief's head. The runners had to hesitate momentarily, but they're going to be able to. Jyrick will run all the way home. Myrick, beg your pardon. So it'll be a single, a very long single, as it was ricocheted off the corner, right field corner. Runners will be on first and third as Keller advanced to third. So 1 out here in the top of the second inning. 2 runs have scored. Runners on the corner. And the 9-hole hitter, number 17, Justin Bailey, the center fielder, he's batting .210 on the year. He's up to bat. He has an opportunity to add more runs here in the top of the second for Bethany. But again, just to compare the stolen bases from Bethany and Tabor, the Blue Jays on the season have 82 stolen bases compared to Bethany's 18. As a breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-1 count to Bailey. Inning was started off with an error, and then Bethany has really taken advantage of that. 3 hits in the second inning along with an error. Horn from the stretch again, lunging at it, fouling it back is Bailey. The runner was going on the play.
I think that was another hit and run play there. They're trying to get that runner back into scoring position, hopefully with another ground ball.
Bethany's playing small ball here. The batter, Justin Bailey, the junior two-way player. He is also a pitcher from Texas. Transfer from Arlington Baptist University. 0-2 count here. Good pickoff attempt by Horn. Gonzalez able to get back in there safe. And you see that happen often. Gonzalez hit that ball over Van Diest's head, but because it is a short porch, almost like Fenway, long single, a very long single, you don't see that happen too much when a ball is hit off the wall and the defense is able to hold him to a single. This Horn is able to throw that in there, fouled off to the right side.
It's certainly a nightmare in right field. You want to play in a little bit so that you can have the advantage of a short porch where you can run in and catch bloopers, but you want to also play close enough to the fence where balls off the fence like that, you can limit them to singles. It's a difficult position to play.
Against Southwestern, you saw Van Diest have a good game out there playing balls off the wall. He was able to have an outfield assist. And it's all about judgment and about feel out there. You have to know when to turn around and look for the ball ricocheting instead of running to try to catch it, because it is such a short porch. There's no sign up there, but I'm told it is under 300 at the corner.
Absolutely. I would guess it's in the 290 to 300 range for sure.
Horn able to throw that one in there. It's fouled away. Still 1-2 count. Justin Bailey fighting in there. Top of the order is on deck, Alex Martinez, who grounded out to Christian Stone to start the game. And if you're Coach Stanford here, what are you really looking for out of Horn? You expect him to go 7 innings, or you just want him in for a short amount of time? He's only thrown 12 1/3 on the year coming into this game.
Well, I think in any game, really, you can hope and pray that your starter can go 7 innings. But we also know that this is an awkward spot start. A conference game that's being made up in the midweek, it's difficult to plan for those types of situations. I think if you can get 5 innings out of your starter and then toss it over to the bullpen, you'd probably be pretty confident going into the game.
The Blue Jays played Bethany in a doubleheader at Wichita State Stadium. They swept Bethany in both of those games, and this is their makeup game 3. The Blue Jays have already won the series on this season, looking for a series sweep. And again, this is quite a battle between Justin Bailey and Tony Horn.
He's really attacking with the fastball. It might lead you to believe that they're worried about that runner stealing second base.
You've seen it a couple times where it's been fouled off as the runner Brandon Gonzalez has been attempting to steal. Gonzalez takes his lead. It's not a big one, but he is breaking for second, and it's going to be a ball thrown down to second, and he gunned him down.
Incredible play by Drake Gerard there, holding on to the ball. That's difficult.
The ball was thrown to the first base side of second as it led Gerard off the base. However, it was Dominic Vicentine was able to get it down there quick enough to where Gerard was able to tag him right in the chest. But as you see, he's kind of flexing his elbow. Hopefully he's okay. He was able to tag him in the chest, but a lot of strain there as he's tagging him going towards first base. The runners are going towards second. As Justin Bailey able to foul his 4th pitch off of this at bat. 2-2 is our count. Dom behind the plate does a really good job at throwing out runners at second. Probably one of the better catchers defensively in the KCAC. And again, Horn's pitch is fouled off by Bailey. It's making him throw a lot of pitches this inning. Runner on third, 2 outs. Infield at regular depth. Outfield seems to be straight up. Justin Bailey has worked this count full, 3-2. The Swedes have scored 2 runs here in the top of the second. On the season, just 3 wins inside of conference for the Swedes, looking to upset the Blue Jays here in Hillsboro. The payoff pitch from Tony Horn. A breaking ball in the dirt, and what an at-bat by Justin Bailey. Able to work it, foul off a lot of pitches, and he earned himself a walk. So with 2 outs here in the top of the second inning, we have runners at the corner for the leadoff man, Alex Martinez. He's 0 for 1 on the season. He's batting .250, only 4 runs batted in, no home runs. Horn from the stretch. Fastball, low, ball one.
And these are the type of situations where Tony Horn could really benefit by throwing first pitch strikes with the fastball. We've seen several counts in a row now where he's gotten behind initially and then is trying to attack with that fastball late. That can lead you into hits, can lead into miscommunications in terms of keeping runners on base. It really opens up a door that causes a lot of problems.
A ball in the dirt there, a fastball in the dirt allows the runner, Bailey, to advance to second. So instead of having a force out at second, now you have runners at second and third with 2 outs. Tony Horn's already thrown 35 pitches in an inning and 2/3. And he's from the stretch still. And there's a call, strike 2-1. So a runner's on second and third. If a pitcher traditionally works from the windup with no runners on base, would you tell him to go from the stretch or would you tell him to go from the windup?
You know, I think it really just depends on what the pitcher is most comfortable with. What's important with runners on second and third is that you're not giving anything too pretty down the middle of the plate because you have first base open. You know, if your windup is incredibly slow and stealing home becomes a possibility, then I think you have to reassess what you're doing. But in Tony's case, he's pretty quick to the plate either way. I think he just simply chooses based on what he's most comfortable with.
He's able to get Martinez to chase one in the dirt there. 2-2 is our count. Martinez, a left-handed batter. Also from Texas, just like Bailey, we talked about earlier, is a junior. Horn looking to get the Blue Jays out of a jam. I believe only one of his runs this inning is earned, as there was an error to begin the inning. He's looking to get out of it here. From the stretch, looks to run in the back at third. Martinez able to foul that one off. Wind has changed a little bit here in Hillsboro. Instead of coming directly in, it is going from the catcher's left to right, just slightly. And we are going to do a 2-2 count again. Horn from the stretch. Throws that one in there. Grounds it to Stone. Gets a nice Sunday hop. Able to throw it to Cameron Pope to retire Martinez with a third out. The damage is done here in the second inning. 3 hits, 1 error. 2 have come across the plate. We're going to go to the bottom of the second innings. Swedes up 2-0. We are here in the bottom of the second inning. The Blue Jays up for the Blue Jays. In the bottom of the second is Gage Axline, Dominic Vicentine, and Ben Van Diest. Reagan, you talked about the dimensions of this field. It's really unique in terms of NAIA ballparks. You really don't see this type of uniqueness with the wall in right field being as short but a tall wall than left field much deeper. You'd have to hit the ball a lot more square to get it going. So as a batter, would you rather bat lefty or righty? Obviously, that's a easy question. I think when you look at this field, I mean, the wind can affect it so much too. As you mentioned earlier, the wind recently switched from, moving from left to right. Now you look out to the flag in center field and it's sitting completely still. That would lead you to believe that left-handed hitters would have more success with the short porch. Another thing to add is that left field corner, as Axline grounds out,
that left field corner juts out into almost a triangle, and that gets a lot deeper than you would realize out there. That's kind of a left field power alley for the righties. So if you're a lefty, you've got a lot more chance at some pop fly home runs. But if you're a righty, you got some speed. That power alley in left center can really lead you to some triples.
And we've seen third base coach, graduate assistant Jake Jones, really like to go to that power alley back in his playing days. Of course, he's retired and coaching now. And Dominic Vicentine, the senior catcher from the Bay Area in California, on the season. Dom is batting .263, and he tries to lay this one down the third baseline. A tough play for the third baseman. He's going to throw it a little bit high. I believe it's going to count as a hit. That was going to be a tough play either way. So Dom, the catcher, not really known for his speed. I know he's going to get on me for saying that, but he's able to nice bunt down the third baseline to get a hit there to get a Blue Jays.
Speed might not be his best skill, but his tangibles are certainly worth noting. When you look over and sees the third baseman playing that far behind third base, even without elite speed, Dom can really lay down a bunt and get down to first base.
Will Clark will be our courtesy runner for the Blue Jays. The Sherry Fleming courtesy runner coming out of the dugout. Taking a big lead over there at first base as the left-handed pitcher, Braden McAllister, throws the ball in there to Ben Van Diest, who leads the Blue Jay team with 6 home runs on the year in his first year in a Blue Jay uniform. Number 22, left-handed batter, has taken advantage of that porch in right field certainly already this year. As a strike is thrown in there by McAllister. Again, McAllister has thrown 13 2/3 innings on the year, only 8 strikeouts, so not a prolific strikeout pitcher. He's 0-2 on the season in the win-loss column. Throws a breaking ball in the dirt there. Van Diest is not chased. 2-1 is our count.
And they're respecting Ben Diest's power here, especially at this field. You haven't seen him see a fastball on the inner half of the plate whatsoever.
You have to assume that Bethany definitely looked at the scouting report and saw that he does have power, especially in this stadium. We've talked about the dimensions already a lot. And a player that graduated just a couple of years ago with the NAIA Player of the Year, still the single-season home runs record is Manny DeLeon. He had 25 in a season. McAllister from the stretch. Will Clark thought about going. Van Diest hits this one. Fly ball. Center fielder Bailey has a beat on it, able to catch it. Will Clark runs back to first. And that's one of those, if it's windy and it's blowing out, it may just matriculate all the way out over the fence.
You really have to give credit to the pitcher, too. Threw 2 fastballs on the outside corner to Van Diest that really threw off his vision in terms of trying to hit a ball over that wall, then working that breaking ball off that same spot really threw him off of his rhythm. You see him cast his hands out a little bit there, which causes the pop fly to fall a little bit short.
Drake Gerard, the shortstop, batting .226 on the season, does have a home run with 9 runs batted in. Digging into the plate, looks at that one, a called strike. McAllister so far in 1 2/3 innings has kept the Blue Jays honest. He allowed a pop bloop hit to Alsop in the first inning.
You have to give him credit. He's living on the bottom half of the zone, really avoiding solid contact. That fastball has been a strike on the first pitch several different times. It really seems as if he's settling in right now.
1-1 is our count here to Gerard. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The Blue Jays trail 2-0 as Will Clark trying to steal second base, but what a throw by the catcher, Braden Shrivner. He's able to gun down Clark to end the innings. So the Blue Jays do get a bunt hit by Dominic Vicentine, but Clark thrown out at second. So 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the second. We go to the top of the third inning. Leading off the top of the third inning for the Swedes is Tyler Horcham, the first baseman. He grounded out to the second baseman, Stone, in the first inning. Still on the bump for the Blue Jays is Tony Horn as Horcham fouls this ball off. Out of play to the right side. 0-1 is our count. Through 2 innings, Tony Horn has thrown 40 pitches. 20 pitches per inning. From the windup this time, another breaking ball. That ball skied to right field. Van Diest going back to the wall. It's hit very deep. It's going to be off the wall. Van Diest is going to play it off the ricochet. And into second with a double, Tyler Horcham. Van Diest thought he had a beat on it, but that's again that porch playing such a problem there. Because it jets out so quickly, Van Diest could not judge whether or not he had a play on that ball, but it's hit off the wall on a double.
And if you look out to the flag again, it's blowing from left to right once again. I think it's difficult for Van Diest to get any kind of solid, consistent read on these fly balls.
And the wind is definitely a factor in Kansas, especially Hillsboro. You never know which direction the wind will be blowing. And up to bat now is Luis Duran, the best hitter on this Swedes team per average. He's batting .339. The right-hander digs in there. Jason Wallace able to dig that one out at third base. Throw it over to Cameron Pope to retire Duran. James Duval batting .307, hitting cleanup this afternoon, number 24. The right-hander coming into the box. Duval is another two-way player. He is a pitcher as well as an outfielder, playing left field today. Another player from Texas as that ball gets past Vicentine, and the runner Horcham is able to advance to third base. So, in the top of the third inning, the Swedes have another golden opportunity with one out, runner at third base. As a hitter here, you're really just trying to put the ball in play to the right side. And with the Blue Jays having their defense in, not trying to concede a run here. 1-0 count. Fastball. This one is hit to the right center field. Gap is going to get down. Played off the wall by Van Diest. Duval really showing off his wheels, hustling into second base for a one-out RBI scoring double in the top of the third. So just like that, the Swedes take a 3-0 lead here in Hillsboro. That's going to bring up Braden Shrivner. Number 36, the catcher, thrown out. He threw out a would-be base stealer last inning, showing off his cannon on the season. He's batting .288, so not just a defensive guy can really handle the bat for a catcher. Horn from the stretch. Fastball on the outside part of the plate, ball. Really has to dig deep here. 1 out, man on second. 1-0 will count. Horn checks the runner back. From the stretch. Breaking ball. Hit down the line. Fair. Down the third base line. Alsop getting into it quickly. And the throw will come into second as another run comes in for the Swedes. 4-0 is our score. Really good job by Alsop. That ball was hit down the line. Could have been a double, but he got to it fast, cut it off, and threw it into second. And he holds Shrivner to a single. An RBI single, though. And again, Zach Myrick, number 99, is going to pinch run as a courtesy runner for Shrivner. As we got Coach Stanford coming to the mound for a meeting. Who would you expect is up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays today that they have available?
Well, your first instinct would be to say Hayden Wheeler, being our top lefty out of the pen, but when you look at the Bethany lineup, there's not very many left-handed hitters in the lineup today. You might look down there and see possibly Riley Olson, Jared Cooper, or another righty to attack these righty Swedes.
Hopefully, Tony Horn can get out of this jam. Swedes up 4-0 here in the top of the third inning. 1 out. Working from the stretch is Horn. Number 15, Mike Lowry. He's 0 for 1 this afternoon, popping out to Christian Stone in his first at-bat. Lowry hitting above 300 on the season, coming into today's matchup with a home run, 14 runs batted in. That ball is hit to right field. On the track is Van Diest. At the edge of the track is able to make the catch. A couple more feet. That is off the wall. Park able to hold that one. Van Diest catches it for the second out of the inning. That would have been another big blow to this Blue Jay defense of this game.
You gotta give credit to the Bethany hitters as well. A lot of right-handers, but they are peppering the ball to right field, really driving the ball out to that direction. You'd certainly have to think it was in their report in terms of what their approach was going to be today.
Horn to Joseph Kelleher, the right fielder, number 8. The right-handed batter again. As you said, a lot of right-handed batters in this lineup. Being able to drive it to right field, giving what Horn is giving them. One-0 count with 2 outs here. In the top of the third inning, Horn again maneuvering from the stretch. Breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, and that has been his best pitch so far in this game, keeping the batters honest. That breaking ball, he's thrown for a strike many times.
Without a doubt. The key for Horn has always been just making sure that you can get that fastball over the plate early in the count. Because that slider is so effective, you really need to be up 0-1, 0-2, 1-2 so you can really work that slider in.
From the stretch again, and another fouling that one off is Kelleher. 1-2 count with 2 outs here in the top of the third inning. Bethany has scored 4 runs off of 6 hits. The Blue Jays have also made 1 error. From the stretch, 1-2 count. Almost got him to offer at that high fastball. 2-2 now. 2's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The wind is picked up here from dying down just a few seconds ago. Two count from the stretch. Runner is going. Ball putting play to Jason Wallace. He's going to charge. He's going to muff it at third base. The second error of the game for the Blue Jays allows runners at first and second. Good pitch there by Horn. Really jammed the batter Kelleher, and a slow roll to third base that Wallace just couldn't handle. Funky spin on it, perhaps.
And this is when Horn really needs to dig in and lock in mentally. A pitcher can get really frustrated in these types of situations where you're having some command issues, but when you are in the zone, you're getting hit around a bit. This is really time for Horn to lock in mentally and try to stay composed.
Brandon Gonzalez up, the second baseman for Bethany. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Hit one off the wall in right field in his first at-bat. Fouls that one off. 0-1 count, 2 outs. You really don't want to let Bethany get too many runs here. Already up 4-0. Blue Jays have been held at bay by Braden McAllister, the Swedes pitcher. Horn steps off, collecting himself. Blue Jays will have a doubleheader tomorrow against Central Christian. Those games will be casted live. Potentially a couple more camera angles coming to you, as we had the SID, David Ediger, Talk about that Friday on the broadcast. One count here, 2 outs, top of the third inning. From the stretch, another breaking ball. That one low. Gonzalez did not offer. Through 2 2/3 innings, Horn has thrown 56 pitches. 39 for strikes, 17 for balls. He's struck out 1, he's walked 1. Fastball on the outer half of the plate, foul tipped into the mitt of Vicentine.
And that's big for Horn. That's the first swinging strike on a fastball we've had since the first inning.
That time with a fastball. Horn. And he's able to getting an excuse me swing out of Gonzalez there for his second strikeout of the game. Blue Jays will go to the bottom part of the third inning looking for a couple of runs. Leading off the bottom of the third inning for the Blue Jays is number 50, Drake Gerard. This is Gerard's first at-bat of the ball game on the season, batting .226. The pitcher is still Braden McAllister. McAllister is actually a freshman out of Roanoke, Texas. Really pitching well early on against the Blue Jays, the second best team in the KCAC per conference record. Starts off Gerard with a strike. And Gerard hits that one right at the second baseman, Brandon Gonzalez, who's able to retire him. So 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning brings up Christian Stone, batting .288 on the season, 1 home run. Has had a pretty decent campaign at the plate so far. Again, the Blue Jays on the season as a team, batting .312. The Swedes just batting .261 as a team. Christian Stone taking that breaking ball in there. And really, McAllister's pounding the strike zone. A lot of early strikes thrown from him, which has benefited him very much.
With that fastball and that curveball, too, that's really important. He can throw them both on the first pitch to both righties and lefties and be effective.
Stone getting a generous ball called there. Could have gone either way. McAllister through 2 1/3 innings has only thrown 23 pitches. Really working efficiently as he throws that one in there just a bit high. 2-1 count to Stone. Stone has only struck out 12 times to 12 walks. Really has a solid eye at the plate. Takes that one high. 3-1 count. Stone has a .417 on base percentage. And if he gets on, he does have 4 stolen bases on the year in 5 attempts. I'm not a math major, but I do think that is an 80% rate At an 80% clip, he's stealing bases. Lefty throws it in there on the inside part of the plate, runs the count full. 3-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. McAllister has not struck out or walked a batter in this contest. He also has not allowed a run. As Stone is popping that one up, weak contact into shallow left field. The left fielder charging in, able to easily make the catch is James Duvall. 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. McAllister pitching to contact, and he's gotten a lot of weak contact so far.
And I think that's a product of just living in the zone. When a hitter knows that the majority of a pitcher's offering is going to be in there, they're going to be swinging at anything they see. And as McAllister's thrown 3 different pitches for strikes, he's really doing a great job of missing barrels.
And really, the two hits the Blue Jays have is a bunt single by Vicentine and a bloop single by Alsop. So not a lot of hard contact being made by the Blue Jays hitters. Jason Wallace did drive one deep to center field that was caught at the track. 1-1 count here on Freddie Walker with 2 outs.
And as you look at the flag in center field now, the wind is blowing directly in, which means that a lot of these Blue Jay hits that have been pop flies, some shallow pop-ups, those aren't going to be effective in these conditions.
Breaking ball there, high. 2-1 is our count. Again, Freddie Walker batting .356 on the season. That's an improvement from his batting average last year, where he was mainly a defensive guru in center field. Now he's a threat at the plate. And he hits that one off the pitcher, and he's going to be able to outrun the first baseman to the bag. That ball was shot right back at the pitcher, hit him in the shin. The ball was ricocheted to first baseman Tyler Horcham, and he really had no play at first. Freddie Walker fast enough to get there without Horcham giving much of an effort. The Bethany coach Barrett Weaver in his first season coming out to make sure his pitcher is okay. Ball was hit extremely hard off his shin. But the freshman pitcher says he's all right. Gives a thumbs up to the umpire behind him. And coming to the plate now is Jaden Alsop. He's 1 for 1 in the contest. Had a bloop single in between shortstop, left, and center field. Batting .316 on the season. He's improved dramatically his average from last year, which was in the low 200s. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. Blue Jays looking for something as Alsop pops that one up in shallow left field. Duvall able to easily make the catch. The damage is done here, and the damage was 1 hit and no runs. Blue Jays go to the top of the 4th inning, trailing 4-0. In the top of the 4th inning we go. Tony Horn back on the bump for the Blue Jays for his 4th inning. 3 earned runs counted against Horn. 4 total runs for the Swedes. They're leading 4-0. He goes from the windup. He is facing number 17, Justin Bailey. He hits it to the shortstop, Gerard, who airmails Cameron Popin. Bailey able to get to second base off the throw.
Incredibly tough play by Gerard there. Threw that ball from one knee. Ball might have had him if the ball was caught, but I think it would have been a bang-bang play either way, but you got to give him credit for keeping it on the infield.
Really the Achilles heel for the Blue Jays this game is their third error in 3 innings. Allows Bailey to advance to second base, so a runner in scoring position with nobody out. The Swedes have been able to methodically move runners up at will in the first 3 innings. We are here in the top of the 4th inning, nobody out. Horn from the stretch throws that one outside to number 13, Alex Martinez.
And this has been Horn's struggle all game. I think it's a distinct difference between throwing out of the windup and throwing out of the stretch. And if you look when there's runners on base, the command has dipped down. There's not as many first pitch strikes, and that's kind of where he's gotten in trouble.
Martinez on the afternoon is 0 for 2. He grounded out to Christian Stone and popped out to Christian Stone as Horn's pitch is in the dirt. 2-0 count. The Swedes are out, hitting the Blue Jays 7-3. Horn getting ready for his 62nd pitch. Fastball, a little bit high. 3-0 count to Martinez. Martinez coming into the game batting .250, no home runs, 4 runs batted in. Martinez has struck out 13 times, and he's walked 3 times, but he's had a golden opportunity here. 3-0 count in the top of the 4th inning. Horn looks the runner back at second from the stretch. Fastball in there for a strike. Got to dig deep here with a 3-1 count. Have to imagine that Martinez is taking here unless it's a fastball right down the middle. Swedes have done really well being patient in their count so far today. That fastball is high. That's going to be the second walk issued by Horn. Runners at first and second, nobody out. It's going to allow Tyler Horsham, the first baseman, number 4, to the plate, batting .284, 1 for 2 today. Coach Stanford back out to the bump. He's got his infield in there, giving them some words of wisdoms.
With runners on first and second, nobody out, I think Stanford is walking out there to at least try to prepare the defense for some kind of play to be on here to try to move 2 runners into scoring position. Looking at the score in the 4th inning, a 6-run lead at this point in the game would seem pretty devastating to the Blue Jays.
And again, the Swedes coming into this contest with a record of 3-12 in conference play, 7-21 overall. The Blue Jays coming in 14-3 in conference, 22-6 overall record. Horn from the stretch, fastball fouled off to the right side, out of play. That's what you'd like to see after a mound visit. A first pitch strike to Horsham. Again, the breaking ball this time fouled back. 0-2 count.
And Horsham is taking really big swings here. That would almost lead you to believe that the Swedes do not have a play on to move the runners into scoring position. Horn can probably attack with a slider here and hope for the best for a strikeout.
You could almost imagine at the beginning of this at-bat that it would be theoretical for them to move the runners over with a sacrifice bunt with James Duvall and Luis Duran coming up, 2 of their best hitters batting .339 and .307 respectively, to have runners in scoring position. But they're letting Horsham swing away here. 1-2 count as a breaking ball was in the dirt. Middle infield at double play depth, as they should be. Breaking ball has Horsham leaning. Fly ball to right field, out of play. We are going to do 1 and 2 again.
And these types of at-bats are where it really is beneficial to have a third off-speed pitch that you can throw for a strike. Tony's attacked a lot with the fastball and slider, but there hasn't been a third offering that has been able to keep the Swedes hitters off balance, which is probably contributing to the lack of strikeouts so far.
Fastball. Up the middle, Gerard is going to go to Stone for 1. He's going to go to Cameron Pope for the double play. 6-4-3. Tailor-made. 2 outs here. Just like that in the top of the 4th inning on the 70th pitch of the ball game for Tony Horn.
And I'm sure Tony is feeling really happy right now that one of those ground balls finally resulted in a couple of outs. It's not a lack of ground balls that Horn's been getting, it's just simply where they've been hitting them.
That ball is sky to center field. Freddie Walker does have a beat on it. He's able to catch it as Tony Horn is able to get out of an early jam here in the 4th inning as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Blue Jays still trail 4-0. Leading off the bottom of the 4th inning for the Blue Jays is the right man, Cameron Pope, who coming into the contest is batting .457 with 36 runs batted in. Reagan, you were here in a couple of different teams of the Blue Jays that have really had a lot of success early on. You were here with Manny DeLeon and those teams, and you were here last year with Jackson Hoagie and Yo-Yo. So what has Tabor done in your eyes that have really been able to sustain success throughout different teams?
Well, I think it's fair to assume that every Tabor team is going to be a good offensive team. Coach Standiford does a really good job of coaching the hitters, creating an offense that is generally top 10 in the NAIA every single year. But what's been most interesting to me is how the team has evolved a little bit throughout the years. My freshman year, we were, the #1 hitting team in the nation by a pretty considerable amount.
And Lord have mercy, what a play. Bang, bang at first base, but Luis Duran backhanded that ball pretty deep at third base. Was at a knee, then got up and threw out Cameron Pope at first base. As you could hear the dugout yelling at their detest of that call, but a bang-bang play at first base results in our first out of the inning. Jason Wallace in his second at-bat. First at-bat flew out deep to center field, but as you were saying, Tabor always has good offensive hitting teams, and that's due to Coach Standiford's recruiting success.
Yeah, and when you look at, the 2015 team, that team was incredible offensively, but the pitching staff wasn't necessarily as elite. You had quite a few freshmen throwing on that pitching staff. Myself, a younger Colton Moore, a lot of younger guys that made up that pitching staff. But then you look to my sophomore and junior years, the 2016 and 2017 seasons. Those were a little bit more pitching dominated. You had obviously Mitchell McIntyre ended up with a stint in the minor leagues. A younger Nathan Maruda on that team. You had guys like Bethany, a younger Phil Moore still coming out of the bullpen. A lot of talent on the pitching staff. And then when you look to this year's team, it's certainly the most well-rounded team I've been a part of. Not necessarily top 10 in the nation in any kind of particular statistical group, but as a whole, a lot more competitive across the board.
You can't forget Tommy Sleeve out of the bullpen those 3 years in all conference. So
Absolutely, yeah. It's pretty rare in the KCAC to have just one particular closer that you've locked down for an entire season because there's so many different situations that can be thrown at you. But Tommy held down a closer role, probably the best closer in the conference for 3 years.
Tommy now one of the pitching coaches here at Tabor as a graduate assistant. He gets his master's in May. Done a lot of good things here. And during that time you were here before the clubhouse was built, and has that really helped in recruiting at all?
I certainly think that the clubhouse has helped in recruiting. If you look at this year's freshman class, it's without a doubt the most talented freshman class that I've seen come through Tabor. I think when you call a kid up or you bring him in on a visit and you can show him a facility like this, where there's a practice area for everybody of any position, space that you can be at any time of the day or night, I think it's enticing to somebody, especially at the NAIA level where you're competing with some lesser facilities that Tabor can really shine through on.
And for any athletic team in the NAIA to have an indoor facility, it's pretty amazing. So it really sets Tabor apart from teams in the conference and across the NAIA. As Jason Wallace flied out to left field in his previous at-bat. So, and we have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and really Braden McAllister has worked quickly, efficiently, and has retired the Blue Jays and kept them at bay as we have Gage Axline, the designated hitter, up.
You have to give McAllister credit. He's not pitching like a freshman. Very composed on the mound, living in the zone, throwing multiple pitches for strikes, really attacking hitters on the inside and outer half. When you think freshman pitcher, you don't necessarily think of those qualities, but McAllister has broken that mold today.
Gage Axline grounds one off the glove of a diving first baseman, Tyler Horcham, and Axline is able to get aboard with an infield single, which brings up Dominic Vicentine, who had a bunt single in his first at-bat, and you have to assume that he's going to be hacking here, and he does have some pop in the bat. Dom has 3 bombs on the year. And through 3 2/3 inning, only 43 pitches thrown, averaging about 12 per inning at this point. And again, if you can hear that, greatest walk-up song in the KCAC. McAllister from the stretch just throws that one in the dirt. Good stop there by Scrivener. Really, it was a fastball, and it wasn't a short hop. It hit in front of home plate, so a good stop there by the catcher.
If there's any point in a game where a ball in the gap could really turn the fortunes of a team, I think you look to a situation like now with a catcher that's a leader of the team up bottom of the order with a runner on, the score the way it is. This would be a really big moment for Dom Vicentine to come through.
Big swing and found that one off back. You can see Dom is really trying to put some power behind that swing. 1-1 count, 2 outs. This inning started off with 2 quick outs, ground ball single by Axline, and now we are here with Vicentine, representing the entire state of California with this at bat. Takes that ball outside. 2-1 count. Stat line's been pretty impressive for McAllister so far. He hasn't struck out a batter. He hasn't walked a batter. He also has not given up a run. The defense behind him has been really rock solid. No errors. That's 2-2 count now as Dom fouled that one off down the third baseline. McAllister working out of the stretch. He hasn't worked out of the stretch for much of this game. Axline takes his lead off of first. Dom Hits that one between third and short. And the third baseman, Duran, is able to go to the short way to second base to retire the third out of the inning. The Blue Jays have one hit here in the bottom of the fourth, but no runs to show from it. We go to the top of the fifth inning. Blue Jays trail by 4. As we go to the top of the fifth inning, Tony Horn still on the mound for the Blue Jays. James Dufowl, the cleanup hitter, leading off the inning for the Swedes. Duval is 1 for 2, 2 runs scored and an RBI in the contest. He has been busy so far. Fastball at the belt, strike, 1-1 count. You'd really like to see a quick inning from Horn. Breaking ball, nice pitch there, swing and a miss by Duval. Had him guessing, 1-2 count. Horn is operating from the windup. Brings that fastball in, hit right to Wallace. Good scoop there at third base, able to throw it over to Cameron Pope to retire the first out of the fifth inning. Exactly what you wanted if you were Tony Horn. Early out to start the fifth inning.
And that was his 75th pitch of the outing, so when you're looking at these types of innings, you really want to get some ground balls early, hopefully some strikeouts with a lower pitch count so we can continue deeper into this game.
It's going to bring up Scribner. He singled off the wall in right field. And he hits that one to Freddie Walker. Had a really good jump on it. Ranges to his left. Gracefully catches that one. Throws it back in. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth.
And this is exactly what Horn needs and what he's been lacking the whole game. Really getting outs with that fastball. Not necessarily on swings and misses, but on things like weak ground balls and flyouts to center field.
5 pitches in the fifth inning. 2 outs. That's what you like to see from Horn. He's able to get that one to ground to Jason Wallace. Back hands it, muffles it, and he's going to throw it over to first base, but not in time to retire Mike Lowry. Could have had a 3 outs on 6 pitches. But that's going to bring up Joseph Kelleher, the right fielder. The 4th error of the ball game for the Blue Jays. Really, again, has been their Achilles heel so far in this contest. A nice breaking ball, a little bit high.
That's really deflating to a starting pitcher where it was starting to look like he was settling in.
Yes, Tony Horn has to get past it, move on. And retired Kelleher is up. The right-handed batter fouls that one back. 1-1 count here in the fifth inning. Kelleher, a junior infielder who happens to play right field today. From Wichita Falls, Texas. A lot of Texas natives on this Swedes team. Horn from the stretch. And Vicentine trying to frame that one on the inside part of the plate. Ball, though. 2-1 count, 2 outs. Horn breaking ball and is able to get Kelleher to pop that one out. Out of play to the right side. 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. So, Reagan, we were talking about earlier with the indoor facility, and players can come here at all hours of the day to just really work on their swing or get some more work in, and you really can't have that at a lot of other colleges. Pretty amazing that the Blue Jays have that.
No, I definitely think it's an advantage both on a recruiting and competitive standpoint. I mean, when you think about a hitter being able to go in, possibly after dinner, later on in the night after they finish their homework, there's just so many more extra practice hours that they can incorporate into their schedule. And for pitchers as well, when it's inclement weather outside, you can come inside, throw a bullpen, do a lot of other different stretching and strength building work that you can't get outside when the weather's bad. So I think it offers a competitive advantage along with the recruiting advantage it provides.
The payoff pitch from Horn, ricocheted off on the barehanded grab by Gerard, able to retire him at first base. Joseph Kelleher hit that ball up the middle. It was hit off of Tony Horn, which redirected Drake Gerard's. So he came in, ball slowed down because it hit Horn. He was able to stab it with one hand, throw it to first base to retire the 3rd out of the top of the 5th inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Blue Jays still trailing 4-0. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Leading off with the Blue Jays is number 22, Ben Van Diest, the right fielder. Could be the right man at the right time. The squad leading home run hitter for the Blue Jays up. The wind has calmed down a little bit here. Flag not blowing too much in center field. Breaking ball thrown. Van Diest try to put that one halfway across New York. Swing and a miss, 0-1 count. Van Diest made contact with that one, popped up. Second baseman calling that one, able to make the catch is Brandon Gonzalez. Retires the 1st out. And really, McAllister has been able to get that all afternoon long. Weak contact, weak ground balls, weak pop-ups. And he's really lowered his earned run average significantly. 5.27 coming into the contest, hasn't given up a run in 4 1/3 innings pitched today. Fastball going in, Drake Gerard fouls it off to the right side. 0-1 count. Mixes his speeds well, does Brady McAllister. Gerard, a right-handed hitter. Fouls that one off again. Gerard from Midlothian, Kansas, a freshman utility man. As Reagan said earlier, he can play a number of different positions in the infield.
Also a pitcher as well. Haven't seen him on the mound too much this year because of his commitments to other positions on the field that he's pretty essential in. But in the future, look for Drake Gerard to be an impact pitcher on the staff as well.
Takes that ball a little bit high. 1-2 count here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Blue Jays trailing by 4. McAllister from the stretch works out of the stretch exclusively. Breaking ball. A little bit high again. 2-2 count. Wind now has picked back up, blowing from left to right pretty vigorously. Another breaking ball. Gerard flies that one to right field. Chasing back onto the track is the right fielder Joseph Kelleher, but he's able to make that catch in the middle of the track. And if you could see it on the camera angle there, right above the scoreboard, is our maintenance crew working hard to put in the cameras that we will use for the rest of the season. Christian Stone is up for the Blue Jays. 2 outs here, nobody on. Stone is 0 for 1 in the contest on the season, batting .288. This is his second at bat. Takes a breaking ball outside. This will be a 9-inning game. Blue Jays have already taken 2 from the Swedes earlier in the season. This is a makeup game that was canceled due to inclement weather, as Stone takes a fastball low and away. On paper would be a huge upset from the bottom ranked team in the conference, and Tabor, the second best team on paper from the stretch. Fastball on the outside part of the plate, grazes the corner. 2-1 count. Ball hits in front of the plate that time. Breaking ball, 3-1 count. Good eye by Christian Stone.
The first real hiccup we've seen from McAllister this game, with 2 outs and the 9-hole hitter up, you'd expect him to attack early with the fastball and try to get ahead to turn the lineup over for the next half inning, but he's fallen behind a Stone here.
Stone swinging at that one, fouling it back. Count is full. Here, nobody on base. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. Blue Jays do have 4 runs, but have not really threatened in the ball game to this point. Swedes put up 2 runs in the second, 2 runs in the third. Put a couple of runners on in the 4th inning with nobody out, but Tony Horn was able to do a good job getting a double play.
And that's a big at-bat for the Blue Jays there. Stone being able to get on brings up Freddie Walker, the leadoff hitter, with 2 outs. Runner on first base with speed at both positions. You'd have to think that a base hit here might potentially score a run for the Blue Jays.
The walk leaves Freddie Walker coming to the plate as you send. .356 batting average on the year when runners are on base. Freddie Walker's batting average is .422. Stone 4-5 and stolen base attempts. Sees that one in the dirt and is able to take second base. Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position after having nobody on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And that's an example of some of those unconventional stolen bases that the Blue Jays have had this year. That wasn't just a straight steal. Stone read the ball out of the pitcher's hand, saw it in the dirt, and took second base.
.1-0 count. And the ball low. All of a sudden, Braden McAllister, who had not walked a hitter in the ball game to this point, is struggling to find the strike zone. 2-0 count here to Freddie Walker. Really can stay back and wait for his pitch at this juncture. Outfield playing Walker straight up. And attempting to steal third base is Christian Stone, and the ball is airmailed by the catcher into left field. Blue Jays score their first run here in the bottom of the 5th inning due to an error by Swedes catcher Braden Scribner.
And Charles, that's exactly why when you have a 9-hole hitter up with 2 outs, you really have to attack early with the fastball and get ahead. All of a sudden on McAllister, who really hadn't given up any solid contact all day, that moment grew on him, and now the Blue Jays are back in a game simply because he flipped the lineup back over for Walker.
And it was a really good jump by Stone. Was able to read McAllister's move really well. Got a great jump down to third base, and the ball was nowhere close to the third baseman, Duran, as Walker hits this one to the center fielder, Bailey, who's able to make the catch. Blue Jays, no hits, 1 run off of 1 walk, 1 error here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We go to the top of the 6th. Blue Jays do score a run trail, 4-1. Leading off the top of the 6th inning for the Swedes is Brandon Gonzalez. Gonzalez is 1 for 2 in the contest with an RBI. Tony Horn still on the mound for the Blue Jays as Gonzalez pops this one out to Drake Gerard. Through the past inning in the 3rd, Tony Horn has really settled down. Would have had a 6-pitch inning last inning if it wasn't due to an error, and on the first pitch of the 6th inning gets an out. Really working efficiently. Justin Bailey, the center fielder, 1 for 1 with a walk. His first at bat was able to hit a double off the right field wall. Takes 2 balls low, 2-0 count here. Justin Bailey has 9 walks on the season, has struck out 14 times. Horn from the windup, fastball high. 3 straight balls to Justin Bailey. Bailey was batting .210 coming into the contest with a .329 on-base percentage from the windup. And a ball, 4 straight balls, puts Justin Bailey, the 9-hole hitter, on base for the leadoff hitter and designated hitter, Alex Martinez. Martinez in this game has been 0 for 2 with a walk. He's been on base once.
And you'd have to expect the Blue Jay pen is getting hot right now with Tony Horn struggling a little bit. Mark Stanford's probably going to want to make a change pretty soon.
From the stretch outside, part of the plate, strike 1. Martinez, one of only 2 Bethany Swedes yet to not record a hit in the contest. Pickoff attempt by Horn. Oh-1 count. Swing and a foul back is 0-2 now. Justin Bailey on first base on the season. He has attempted to steal a base 4 times, and all 4 times he has stolen that base. Not many stolen bases on the year, but he has stolen a base every time he has attempted, so he could test the arm of Vicentine, and as we've seen, it's really tough to do. Fouling that one to his own dugout is Martinez. Still an 0-2 count with 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. And Bailey is trying to steal, and the throw is a little late. Getting into center field, attempting to go to third, and he's able to get in there heads up. I'm not sure how the ball was able to get through Gerard and Stone all the way to Freddie Walker. It was a Sunday hop, but nonetheless, it does get through the defenses of the Blue Jays to center field. And Justin Bailey, being cognizant of that, is allowed to advance to third base.
It looked like the ball may have tipped off of Gerard's glove and trickled into center field. Christian Stone looked lined up for it, but I think the ball was deflected.
On the pitch was a strikeout, second out of the inning. And the third base, and a hit down the third base line. Fair is going to be able to score a run as Tyler Horsham is able to hit that. Jason Wallace had a play on the ball, able to get right under his glove. That is actually going to count as an error. The 5th error of the ball game. Whenever you have more errors than you have hits, it's not necessarily a good sign. Blue Jays trail 5-1. Horsham now 2 for 4. Horn. A swing and a miss by number 23, Luis Duran. Duran is 0 for 3 in the contest with a strikeout, which is surprising because he is the Swedes' best hitter. The third baseman. We've seen him make a couple of good defensive plays for Bethany. Horn is up to his 94th pitch of the game. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good scoop by Vicentine. He's going to fire down at first base just a little bit late. 1-1 count. The wind is still playing games. It's blowing left, blowing right. Stops at times. Still overcast here in Hillsboro. And a called strike. 1-2 count now. Temperature at game time is 56 degrees in Hillsboro. A little bit chillier with the wind chill. The 1-2 count from the stretch. Fouled it back to the screen. We'll do it again.
And Horn is still attacking with the fastball to those middle of the order hitters. That's somewhat surprising considering how effective his slider has been throughout the day.
Vicentine giving Horn the sign. Here comes the breaking ball. The outside part of the plate misses. Duran does not give chase. 2-2 count. Tony Horn, number 11 in the blue Tabor jerseys. White cleats with green trim. Black sleeves. From the stretch again. And a strike called on the outside part of the plate. Top of the 6th inning. The Swedes do get a run on an error and a hit. They go to the bottom of the 6th. Blue Jays trail 5-1. Jaden Alsop leading off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Blue Jays. Following him will be Cameron Pope and Jason Wallace. If there's a time in the game to string a few runs together, this would be the part of the order you'd want. Up. Alsop is 1 for 2. Had a first inning single, little bloop single. Batting .318 on the year. McAllister still out there. First pitch to Alsop is a ball. 1-0 count. Fastball hit to the second baseman, Gonzalez, and he throws it to first base for the first out of the inning. 1 down. Brings up Cameron Pope. Cameron's been quiet today, 0 for 2. Blue Jays could get him going. McAllister is coming up on his 68th pitch as Pope hits that one to the right side in foul territory. Giving chase is Joseph Keller, and the ball does reach foul ground harmlessly. No long strike. 0-1 count. And to compare McAllister's 68 pitches, Tony Horn for the Blue Jays has almost thrown 100. He's at 98. Big swing and the miss right there by Pope.
McAllister still working that off-speed pitch in early in counts too, which is throwing off the middle of the order Blue Jay batters.
He has Pope down 0-2 here. Another breaking ball right down the heart of the plate. Pope does not agree with the call. Nonetheless, it is 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pope is 0 for 3 in the ballgame. Brings up Jason Wallace. Jason, one of the only Blue Jays to really make solid contact with McAllister. He is 0 for 2, but in his first at-bat, hit one to the edge of the track in center field. He comes up here in the bottom of the 6th inning with nobody on and 2 outs as the ball goes into the dirt for ball 1, 1-0 count. Jason, the junior right-handed hitter from Fontana, California. Breaking ball, and as you mentioned, Reagan, really hitting that breaking ball in early in the count for strikes, especially to the middle of the order batters.
Well, it's especially effective against power guys who really have to sit on a pitch to be able to hit it out of the park. When he shows multiple pitches early in counts, it makes it difficult for hitters like Jason Wallace and Cam Pope and even a lefty like Ben Van Diest to really hone in on a pitch and prepare to hit it out of the ballpark.
Two 1 count. McAllister again working from the stretch fastball a little bit low. Count runs to 3-1.
And this is really the only time that McAllister has been getting into trouble is when he has two outs and nobody on. This is the second time he's fallen down 3-1 in a situation like this.
Blue Jays could use a base runner. And a ball in the dirt. Walk, some second walk of the game issued by McAllister. Jason Wallace goes to first base. His first time on base this afternoon. Gage Axline, the designated hitter, batting .265 in the season, coming to the plate. Gage is 1 for 2. Had an infield hit earlier in the contest. Gage, a junior from Medicine Lodge, Kansas. Previous school was Pratt Community College.
And you might expect Stanford to put somebody out to run for Jason Wallace and then have Jason re-enter, but it looks like he's opting to let Jason run the bases here.
Doesn't have too big of a lead there at first base. McAllister goes home. Ball in the dirt.
And once again, towards the second half of innings, especially with 2 outs, McAllister has started to have some issues with command that could end up resulting in more runs like it did last inning.
6 of his last 7 pitches have been balls. Axline, right-handed batter. McAllister, fastball. Axline swings and offers. The shortstop catches it, gives way to the second baseman for the 3rd out of the 6th inning. We go to the top of the 7th. Blue Jays still trailing 5-1. We have a pitching change here for the top of the 7th inning for the Blue Jays. Dragon, who we got on the bump?
This is number 17, Riley Olson. He comes from Centralia Community College. He is a junior this year at Tabor. Attacks primarily with a fastball in the low 80s, 12-6 curveball in the lower 60s, and then a changeup that'll work in deeper into ball games if he starts. In this type of relief situation, you'd have to expect that he'll primarily be working with a fastball and a breaking ball. A little bit less velocity than Horn, but a little bit more break on his off-speed pitches. You can also expect him to command the zone a little bit more. Numbers don't necessarily indicate a great season so far this year, but Riley is expected to be one of our main contributors come postseason time.
Olson has pitched 8 2/3 innings. Has 7 strikeouts. Earned run average of 5.19. Leading off the top of the 7th for the Swedes is number 24, James Duvall. And a strike on the outer half of the plate starts him off with a fastball. Good start here from Olson. Duvall is 1 for 3 today, has scored 2 runs, has a run batted in, pops that one up to right field. Van Diest coming in on it, calls off Stone, able to make the catch for the 1st out of the 7th inning. Couple pitches here, and an out already for Olson. Braden Shrivner coming up, he's 2 for 3 with a run batted in today. Right-handed batter, number 36. Olson operating from the windup. Hits the outside part of the plate. Blue cleats for Olson.
Another big key for Riley is to live in the bottom half of the zone. With a fastball that doesn't necessarily get on the hitter that quick, it's important for him to live in the knees and below.
Breaking ball hit, misses outside. 1-1 count. Two-one count now. Getting late into the ball game, top of the 7th inning, the Blue Jays will have 3 opportunities to score runs as Shrivner hits that one to Stone. Stone able to make the play and throw it to first, retire the 2nd out of the inning. Olson able to come in and make quick work of the first 2 batters. Number 15, Mike Lowry, coming to the plate for the Swedes. Lowry in the contest is 0 for 3. Breaking ball misses low. The wind is now blowing from right to left. It had been blowing in or to the left to right. Now it's swirled around, blowing from right field to left field. Olsen throws that one in there, fouled off by Lowry. 1-1 count with 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. Blue Jays trailing 5-1 to Bethany College. Another breaking ball in there at the belt. 1-2 count. Really froze Lowry with that pitch.
Olsen's off-speed pitches are incredibly effective, and it's really what he builds an entire arsenal around.
Lowry hits that one deep to left field. Alsop on the run at the wall.
What a
able
catch.
to make the leaping grab at the fence. Was about 6 inches from the top of the fence, and he was able to make the play. That is his second solid play in the last few games. He made a game-saving play against Southwestern in the top of the 9th inning, and now he robs an extra base hit away from Mike Lowry. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Blue Jays trail 5-1. Leading off the bottom of the 7th inning is the catcher, Dominic Vicentine. On the afternoon, Dom is 1 for 2 with the bunt single. Dom, the senior, specifically from Oakley, California. His go-to snack, if you all were wondering, is beef jerky. Big fan of Jack Link's. McAllister still out there, fires a ball low. Dom's favorite sunflower seed flavor is cracked pepper. And he also likes to boast that his hidden talent is that he is a culinary expert. I will attest to that fact. McAllister throws another ball outside. In the last couple of innings, he has struggled with his control comparatively to the first few innings where he was working smoothly through. Has 79 pitches so far through 6 innings. Dom sets in the box, swings at that one, rips it to the third baseman, Duran. He has really showcased his glove this afternoon. That ball was shot. Good grab there and is able to retire and make the throw to first base. Dom goes down, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We got a pinch hitter. The heart of Hillsborough is coming to play, Jordan Fowle, the Hillsborough native. He's really had a solid campaign this season, batting .368 coming in. The senior utility man. Seen him play second base and shortstop. Takes out one low.
Jordan Fowle does have a flair for the dramatic. When it comes to being put in big situations, he has a tendency to come through for the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays could use a base runner here in the worst ways, trailing 5-1. They need to get something going. He looks at that ball high, 2 balls, no strikes. 5 pitches thrown here. Only 1 has gone for a strike. And that one has resulted in an out here in the bottom of the 7th inning as Fowle swings right through that fastball by McAllister. Fowle pinch hitting for Ben Van Diest. Coach Stanford electing to go with a righty-lefty matchup.
And Fowl showing some experience here, working a long at-bat against a pitcher who's probably tiring.
Fowl is batting .368 on the season. As we mentioned earlier, he's batting .490 against left-handed pitching. And he looks at that one in the dirt. That is something that Fowl does good. He walked, and for Jordan Fowl, in 19 at-bats, he has 10 walks. So technically 29 at-bats, but in 29 plate appearances, he has 10 walks. That would be his 11th. Ben Van Diest is coming back in to run for Fowl at first base.
And that's senior leadership right there. At a moment where we really needed a base runner, Jordan Fowl was able to put 5 years of experience into practice as he drew a walk, and a pretty competitive pitcher.
Drake Gerard up, the freshman, in a big spot here. Takes a ball. And that's a solid move there by a freshman, just letting him throw a strike. He's struggled this inning to throw strikes. 1-0 count. Van Diest on the base pass this season. And he has speed. 17 stolen bases and 17 attempts, and he's going to take off on this one. And Gerard does not swing. The play at second base is a bang play. Van Diest is in there safely. This is a good throw by Scrivener, the catcher. Van Diest got a solid jump.
He's going on first movement, facing a lefty. He's gambling on the fact that the pitcher will throw home and give him a good chance to seal the bag.
That is his 18th stolen base of the season, only trailing Freddie Walker, who has 24. Gerard now with the man on second base. 2-0 count. The pitch from McAllister, a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Wow.
Down 2-0, McAllister's confidence to throw a breaking ball in that situation shows that he's pretty confident in his ability to command that pitch, and he's still probably feeling pretty well in terms of fatigue.
McAllister in line for the win today. If the Swedes hold on, he's 0-2 on the season. Would be his first collegiate win. Van Diest going to third base now, and he is safe. Wow, he got another jump, kind of toying with McAllister, who wasn't even looking at him at second base. So Van Diest being smart enough to recognize that and stole third. 2 stolen bases here for Van Diest. Now allows a 3-1 count with Drake Gerard at bat with the runner at third. All he has to do is put it in play.
And you're almost led to believe that the Blue Jays have some kind of read on McAllister at this point. The freshman might be tipping when he's going to the plate, or some other giveaway that shows when it's a good time for the Blue Jays to take off.
Gerard is able to walk. The catcher, Scrivener, did not agree with that call. It's a breaking ball. Scrivener thought caught the inner half of the plate. And nonetheless, it is a walk. The second walk issued this inning, in a long, slow walk out to the pitching mound is Barrett Weaver, as he does have a pitcher getting warm in the bullpen. And you really have to tip your cap today to Braden McAllister. The freshman had not thrown much on the season, only 13 2/3 innings pitched on the season, went 6 1/3 innings here, almost doubled his season total.
If you're a Bethany coach, there's really not much else you can ask from a freshman. Facing a team that's second in the conference, really competitive in terms of putting hitters in the box who can do some damage with one swing of the bat. You have to give him credit for living in the zone, being confident with his stuff, and throwing 3 different pitches for strikes consistently throughout 6 1/3.
The final stat line for Braden McAllister, he goes 6 1/3. He allows 4 hits, no earned runs, walks 4, struck out 1, 92 total pitches. And the pitch for the Swedes is Josh McCat, a sophomore from Texas, another Texas native. McCat has a 7.26 ERA on the season. He has 8 appearances. He has a record of 3-4. He is one of the most seasoned pitchers on this team, 3rd on the team in innings pitched at 39 2/3. He has 26 strikeouts in those 39 2/3 innings.
A little bit of a sidewind delivery. He's not directly from the side, but certainly low 3/4. You could expect that the fastball is probably going to run in on right-handers, and then any breaking pitches are going to run away from right-handers and into lefties.
An interesting stat for McCat is that he does have 26 strikeouts, but he has issued 23 walks on the season. And he's hit 10 batters. So 36 free passes on the season. Beg your pardon. 33 free passes on the season handed out by McCat. See how the Blue Jays attack him here.
You'd think with a lack of command that might mean balls in the dirt that the catcher has to deal with, and the Blue Jays have shown throughout the game that on those types of situations they can advance.
Christian Stone up at a big spot here. The junior. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. The only run scored for the Blue Jays takes that one into the heart of the plate. First pitch strike for McCat. Gerard at first base. Van Dees at third. A ball is taken up high and in.
There is a left-hander warming up in the Bethany bullpen. You'd have to think with Jaden Alsop coming back up, when the lineup turns over, they might be planning for that type of situation.
And Stone hits it into the gap of the shortstop and third base into left field. It's going to score a run. Blue Jays tag on a hit and a run. They have players on first and second here. Bottom of the seventh. Freddie Walker, top of the lineup. What a hit right there. Turning on the ball is Christian Stone, the 9-hole hitter, coming in big for the Blue Jays. He scored 1 run, has 1 run batted in. Now Freddie Walker, who is 1 for 3.
Blue Jays might be in a situation where they might have Freddie Walker bunt to move both runners into scoring position to bring up a lefty and also.
It's a pretty nice breaking ball there from McCat. Interesting stat on Freddie Walker. In his 4th at-bat on Mondays in the month of February, he batted .750. Fastball, Freddie Walker, right to the second baseman. Pretty hard hit, and the second baseman is able to have an unassisted double play there to end the Blue Jay inning. This is March, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. Blue Jays trail 5-2. Leading off the top of the 8th inning here for the Sweets is Joseph Kelleher. He's 1 for 3 with a run batted in today. Still on the mound for the Blue Jays,
Riley Olson, number 17. Like he did in his last inning, Olson's really going to have to continue focusing on attacking with the fastball low early in counts. The Bethany Swedes have shown that they do not strike out very often. Getting them to make weak contact is definitely important for Olson in the reliever position.
2-0 count. Now it goes to 3-0. Olson struggling here to start the 8th inning in his location.
Certainly not a good start to the inning for the Blue Jays. And in a situation like this, you want to try to gain all the momentum back from the Swedes that you can to mount a comeback. Olsen falling down 3-0 to the leadoff guy in such a critical inning is definitely not a good start.
And a strike right down Broadway for Olsen. 3-1 count. From the windup, another one right down Main Street. Count runs full. Let's see if he can dig back and win the battle. Payoff pitch from Olsen. Again, working from the windup. And a little bit low and outside. Walks him. Man will be on first base with nobody out. And the second baseman, Brandon Gonzalez, coming up. He's 1 for 3 with the runs batted in as well.
The story of the game so far, Charles, Blue Jay defense is being tested again in a pretty important situation. Although the defense hasn't necessarily been at its peak, you can also fault the pitchers a little bit for putting them in positions that are pretty tough to get at themselves out of.
Gonzalez showed bunt, waved and missed that one 0-1, and you hit it right on the nail. Swedes playing small ball here. Gonzalez gets the signal from his third base coach. Blue Jays in their bunt defense. Ball in the dirt. Thinking about going to second base was Joseph Kelleher, but Dom able to track the ball down. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good stop.
Then Olsen is lucky there that runner stayed on first base. I believe Cameron Pope was running to cover the play and got in the vision of the runner on first base, which prevented him from seeing where the ball actually was. You'd have to think that if he could have seen the ball the whole time, he easily would have advanced to second base.
Oh, a nice pitch there. As Gonzalez showed bunt, pulled back, still called strike. 1-2 count. And as you said, Cameron Pope is a mountain of a man. It's really hard to see past him. One-two count from the stretch. Olsen. Oh, swing and a miss. Runner was at first base, so it doesn't matter if it's in the dirt or not. But the runner does advance to second as the ball was in the dirt. So runner at second with 1 out. Number 17, Justin Bailey, coming up. .210 on the season is his batting average. But in this ball game, Bailey is 1 for 1 with 2 walks.
And I believe that was once again a hit and run by the Swedes. You could tell that the batter swung at a pitch that was probably ball 4 and tried to chop down at it. You'd have to think that the coach probably instructed him to try to hit a ground ball to the right side.
In comparing this Blue Jay and Swede offense this season, the Swedes have a total of 3 home runs on the season. Reagan, give me a guess what the Blue Jays have.
I'm going to guess the low 30s.
27. Pretty close. 27. So the discrepancy in his power has not been on display today. Blue Jays have been held in check majority by Braden McAllister. That ball is popped up to the right side. Christian Stone camping under it. Able to make the catch. 2 outs. And the leadoff man, Alex Martinez, the designated hitter on the afternoon. He's 0 with a base on balls and a strikeout. Olsen really done a solid job to this point, limiting any type of damage. Blue Jays, after this inning, will have 2 chances to get back in this thing.
And other than a brief hiccup at the beginning of this inning, Olsen has done a good job of living in the zone and really attacking early with the fastball. That's allowed his slider to work off, and it made him able to get ahead of hitters and force them to make weak contact.
Olsen and Vicentine weren't on the same page. Maybe they want to talk about signs because there's a runner at second. They don't want him stealing any signs. So Vicentine comes out, talks to his pitcher about the game plan. We are going to call that the Wogamuth mound visit. Martinez digs in there. The left-handed batter wearing number 13. Olsen steps off the mound. Alex Martinez. Guess what state he's from, Reagan?
I'm going to say the great state of Texas.
And he's from Texas. Another Texas native seems to be littered through here. Coach Stanford coming for a mound visit, and a good outing by Olson. Wanted to give the ball to Skip, but I don't think Coach now Coach Stanford takes the ball from a good job from Riley Olson. Now Coach Stanford is dialing up the Lorenz call to the bullpen. Hustling in from the right field corner is
Number 10, Hayden Wheeler, out of Pratt Community College. Wheeler is the leading innings eater out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays this year with 17 innings pitched. Recently had a 7 strikeout performance against the number 13 team in the country, Oklahoma Wesleyan Eagles. Earned himself the win in that game, and Wheeler has been an innings eater for 2 years now at Tabor. Left-handed, throws in the mid-80s with the fastball, but is primarily effective because of his curveball. Has an absolutely incredible bender. More of a 12-6 action, a little bit loopier than a lot of curveballs, but you can really see the break from the side. Wheeler is most effective when he's throwing that curveball the most. If he's throwing it for strikes, it's very difficult to hit, especially from the left side. He can kind of use his fastball more as a complementary pitch, which is a little bit rarer when you look at relief pitchers, not necessarily a fireballer, but the most effective reliever the Blue Jays have had this season.
And as you talked about, his strikeouts per 9 innings pitched is pretty amazing, and it's a solid improvement from last year. He had a good campaign in the 2018 year, 386 earned runs averaged, and pitched in 25 2/3 innings, only had 22 strikeouts, so you can see the improvement over a year.
And Wheeler's really had to step up this year. Last year, him and Derek Watts really shared the reliever role, especially as the first guy out of the bullpen, kind of the main guy that comes out of the pen in clutch situations. Now with Derek Watts moving into the starting rotation, Wheeler's had to step up and eat a lot more innings than he would have in the past. But he's stepped up and done that as a leader, a senior. That 3-pitch repertoire that he features has really been effective against opposing hitters. And again, strikeouts have been a major key for him, like we need in this situation. These are the type of situations that Stanford would ideally like to put Wheeler in.
Technically, this would be considered a high leverage situation. As you were saying, Alex Martinez, who was up right before Olson got pulled from the contest.
And with a lefty in the box, you can expect a lot of curveballs early in counts from Hayden Wheeler.
Wheeler getting his signal from Vicentine. He working out of the stretch with the runner at second base. Oh, excuse me, swing by Martinez. He saw the pitch. He wanted to swing, then the pitch broke away from him. He tried to stop, did not look. Wheeler made him look bad on that pitch. Martinez looking to redeem himself. Wheeler again. Same type of deal. Martinez looked at it, wanted to swing, tried to stop, could not check his swing. 0-2 count here.
And Hayden Wheeler really is just a nightmare on a left-handed hitter. When you've got that curveball that actually looks as if it's coming at your head from the left-handed batter's box, it's really effective for him to work that fastball in, and then that slider curveball away makes it difficult on the hitter to keep the eye level the same and really get the barrel through the zone.
On an 0-2 count, Wheeler comes in with his first fastball. Martinez barely able to get contact of it, nubs it to the left side.
And this is a perfect example of how Hayden Wheeler pitches. Most pitchers use their off-speed as a complementary piece to their fastball, but Wheeler, on the other hand, throws that slider and that curveball a lot more often, and then uses that fastball as more of a supplement pitch to get him through tough situations, or maybe throw something different that the hitter hasn't seen yet.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If that one missed, it was by less than an inch. 1-2 count. The entire outfield was running in, thinking it was called strike 3. But the home plate umpire, Jeremy Jackson, thought better of it. From the stretch, Wheeler fouls that one off to the left side. And the umpires have really done a good job in this contest. 1-2 count. We'll do it again. Joseph Kelleher still on second base. So a runner is in scoring position for the Swedes. 1-2 count. Wheeler. Hit up the middle. Christian Stone has a play, but he muffs it. Gets into center field. Kelleher is going to score all the way from second. A routine ground ball. Gets through the glove of Christian Stone. His second error of the game. The typically short-handed second baseman allows that one to get high in this crucial run, insurance run there. Bethany gets to run. The Blue Jays scored in the bottom of the seventh back.
And that was the proverbial took his eye off the ball there. I think Stone was a little bit worried about the base runner's speed. Took his eye off the ball on that backhand play and really just kind of let it trickle through his glove.
An unearned run will be issued to Riley Olson. Errors and they have hits. 5 hits, 6 errors, 2 runs. Trail 6-2 here in the top of the 8th inning. Hayden Wheeler trying to get out of this. Still from the stretch. Looks Martinez back as Tyler Horsham flies this one to center field. Freddie Walker gives way to Jaden Alsop, who catches a third out of the inning. Damage is done. 1 run scored in the top of the 8th inning. Blue Jays trail 6-2. Crucial inning for the Blue Jays if they want to get back in this ball game, trailing 6-2. Jaden Alsop, the 2-hole hitter, followed by Cameron Pope and Jason Wallace. Again, this part of the lineup has an opportunity to put some runs on the board for the Blue Jays. Alsop is 1 for 3 today with a bloop single in the first inning. Still in the ball game for the Swedes is Josh McCats, pitched 2/3 of an inning so far. Alsop, he hammers that one deep to right field. Kelleher runs out of room in a solo home run by Jaden Alsop. Alsop, not known for his power, that is his first bomb of the year, is letting RBI. He is now 2 for 4 in the contest with an RBI run scored. That is what the Blue Jays needed. They need more of that. We talked about the discrepancy in home runs between the teams.
And that's really when that short portion right field comes into play. The Blue Jays have more left-handed hitters in the lineup, and
base runner, man on first. Nobody out. First two batters of this inning, a home run by Jay Nalsop and a base on balls by Cameron Pope. On the season, Cameron Pope has a .510 on base percentage. He gets on base more than half the time. His first time on base this afternoon in 4 at bats. We got a pitching change.
Looks like a lefty coming in for the Swedes.
Coming into the ball game is number 31, Cole Bohannon. Cole Bohannon actually pitched against the Blue Jays last year, and he went into the 9th inning before giving up a run. I believe he's a sophomore. Beg your pardon, he's a
Junior, it looks like.
Junior. And we finally have a player not from the state of Texas. He's from Kansas. Bohannon has a .519 earned run average on the year. Has pitched 52 innings. I believe that is tops on this Bethany roster. In those 52 innings, he has 36 strikeouts. He's given up 63 hits in 52 innings. And he's walked 26 batters, hit 3. So the Blue Jays do have an opportunity here, but Coach Barrett Weaver is going with another lefty. Blue Jays really hit the righty Mahak. Well, even in the double play by Freddie Walker, he hit it right on the nose, right to the second baseman. Coming up for the Blue Jays, you got Jason Wallace. And he always is a threat with power. And really, this is the meat of the power of the lineup for the Blue Jays. From Cameron Pope to Ben Van Diest, those players account for 19 home runs. Those 4 players have hit 19 home runs this year. With those 19 home runs, with those 4 players, that is more than 8 times more home runs than the entire Bethany team. Bohannon on the mound from the stretch with Cameron Pope on first. Jason Wallace, the big right-hander from Fontana, California, at the plate. He has gotten on base with a walk. He's 0 for 2 with that long fly out in the bottom of the first inning. And Bohannon throws high, ball 1. And he throws one in the dirt. Cameron Pope, being smart, does not want to make the first out of the inning. Goes back to first base, 0-2 count. Again, in 52 innings, Bohannon has walked 26 batters. He doesn't overpower people with his fastball, so throws in the low 80s. And that one goes high, struggling with his controller to start his stint here this afternoon. 3-0 count. What if you're Jake Jones down at third base? You telling him not to swing?
Well, with a hitter like this up, you do have a decision on your hands, but I think in this type of situation, it's probably best to let him watch pitches he did there.
And right there, Jason Wallace actually thought that was a strike. You can hear Barrett Weaver from the Swedes dugout asking where'd that miss. Jason Wallace actually stepped behind the batter's box and thought it was a strike, but it was a ball. Walked down to first base. That's the second free pass of the afternoon. Blue Jays have runners on first and second. Cody Steinman grabs the bat off the bench. Steinman always a threat for power. He's actually had a solid campaign, batting .304, 4 home runs on the season. And he's really worked on hitting the breaking ball this season. He's really struggled at that last year. He's a good fastball hitter, and he has his work cut out for him. Bohannon throws a lot of breaking pitches.
And a big vote of confidence to Cody from Coach Mark Standiford, having him come in and face a left-handed reliever. Typically, you don't really want to set up those lefty-lefty matchups as the coach of an offense, but I guess Standiford is really optimistic about Cody's chances to hit one out here.
First pitch strike for Bohannon, big for him. Simon rips that one down to the first baseline, foul. 0-2 count in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 run has scored thanks to a Jaden Alsop home run to right field. We have runners on first and second with nobody out. 0-2 count to Cody Steinman. Cole Bohannon on the mound.
You'd have to expect a breaking ball here from Bohannon.
Steinman, good foul back there. Again, Steinman really struggled at hitting the breaking ball last year, and he has made tremendous strides this year. He started in 14 games. Believes he's at the top of the top 5 in home runs on this Blue Jay team. The other day, he hopped the athletic center in right field. He hits this one to the right side out of play. We'll do 0-2 again. But the Pendry Athletic Center in right field, which has to be 450 feet away from home plate, accounts say that he did one hop it. So here we go, 0-2 count. Bohannon working from the stretch. Comes to the plate, and it's going to be a strike 3 called fastball on the outer heart of the plate. Retires Cody Steinman. Now we got Dominic Vicentine. Dom is 1 for 3. Coming up at a big spot here. Blue Jays have already scored 1. They would love more. Runners on first and second. Dom batting .365 on the season. 16 runs batted in. 3 long balls. Jason Wallace at first base. Cameron Pope at second. Bohannon on the mound. Fastball right down the middle, called strike. 1-1 is our count. Blue Jays would love avoiding a loss in the loss column. A nice breaking pitch there by Bohannon. Called strike. 1-2 is our count.
And Bohannon's really starting to dial it in here. That's a fastball and a curveball that he's been throwing to first strikes against both righties and lefties. Has to be a good sign for him out of the bullpen.
Dom chokes up on the bat. 1-2 count. Fastball blows it by Vicentine. Cole Bohannon comes in. Walks the first batter he sees. Retires the next 2 via the strikeout. We have a pinch hitter coming in for the Blue Jays.
Be number 35, Josh Jones, out of Wichita, Kansas. Went to Wichita Northwest High School and Pratt Community College.
The brother of Jake. Josh is batting .222 on the season, 4 RBIs. Big situation for him to come in. Coach Sanford wants the righty-lefty Bohannon coming in. He does a good job of mixing his speed so that his fastball looks a lot faster than it is.
Truly does, and his fastball has been no higher than the knees to any of these Blue Jay hitters.
Jones fouls that one to the right side. Hope it did not hit my car. .02 count. Bohannon working very quickly now. Seems to have gotten in a rhythm after issuing a 4-pitch walk. Jones fouls that one off to the right side again, out of play. We'll do 0-2 again. From the stretch, Bohannon steps off the rubber. Gets the call from his catcher Scribner. From the stretch, delivers to home plate in the dirt. Runners stay at first and second.
Jones really working a good at-bat here. It's tough to come off the bench as a pinch hitter. Face a new pitcher you probably haven't seen before, especially a little bit funky delivery like Bohannon. Jones has done a great job to remain calm and collected in the box.
He's already found one off the 2 strike pitch, and he hits this one to the right side, fouls it off again. His second foul with 2 strikes. 1-2 is our count still. From the stretch, Bohannon looks back. Cameron Pope at second. Jones is able to hit that one to center field, and it's going to get down. Cameron Pope is streaking home. Wallace stays at second. Josh Jones, in a big situation, cuts the lead to 2. 1-2 count. A breaking ball out to the middle part of the plate. Josh Jones doesn't try to do too much with it. Hits it to center field and is able to get a huge hit for his 5th runs batted in on the season.
And that's a big moment for Jones. Hasn't necessarily had a lot of at-bats this year, but in the moment that he does, in a big moment in a conference game, comes through the Blue Jays in a tough at-bat, fights off several tough pitches, and deposits a single in left field.
Sammy Silva coming in to run for Wallace at second base. The utility man from Oregon, Drake Gerard, is going to be stepping at the plate.
And you've got Will Clark running for Josh Jones at first base as well.
So Coach Stanford electing to put more speed on the base paths. Gerard has gone on base once with a walk. He is 0 for 2 in the contest. Bohannon on the mound. Blue Jays would love to tack on a couple more here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bohannon with his chain dangling off, black cleats from the stretch, delivers a breaking ball down low, 1-0 count. The wind is non-existent unless they took the flag off the flagpole.
I do believe that they took the flag off the flagpole.
Bohannon from the stretch, 1-0 count. Steps off the mound. Seems that Sammy Silva and Will Clark, knowing the presence of speed on the base paths, is toying with him just a little bit. Second baseman Brandon Gonzalez trying to keep Sammy Silva close at second. Bohannon to the plate. Gerard lifts a single into left field and misplayed on the bounce is the left fielder. Sammy Silva goes all the way home. Will Clark advances to third. Almost had an opportunity to go home. Drake Gerard advances to second on the ball that was misplayed by the left fielder James Duvall. It would have been a very close play at the plate with Sammy Silva coming from second. The ball took a funky wide hop. Duvall was unable to field it cleanly, but did put leather on it to stop the ball. If he wouldn't have touched the ball, it would have gone all the way to the fence, and 2 runs would have scored at the least.
And you've got to give Drake Gerard credit. As a freshman, having the knowledge to know that a fastball is likely coming in that count, runners on first and second, the last thing Bohannon wants to do is bounce a breaking ball and put 2 runners in scoring position, which would have tied the game. Gerard knew a fastball was coming and did what he should with it.
Bohannon throws a breaking ball in there for a strike to lead off the at-bat with Christian Stone. Blue Jays runners at second and third, 2 outs, have already scored 3 here in the bottom part of the 8th inning. 6-5 is our score. Bethany leads. Christian Stone looks at that one. Ball just missed.
With a base open, you'd have to think that if Christian Stone gets ahead in the count, the Bethany Swedes might elect to walk him, bring the top of the order up with a force out at any base.
Swings through the breaking ball. 1-2 count. Stone is 1 for 2 with an RBI and run today. And he's able to hit that one right to the second baseman. Brandon Gonzalez was hit pretty sharply, but just right at the second baseman. Blue Jays have done some damage here in the bottom part of the 8th. They score 3 runs, leave a couple men in scoring position. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Blue Jays down a run, 6-5. We are here in the top of the 9th inning. Wheeler still on the mound for the Blue Jays. He's pitching to number 23, Luis Duran, the third baseman. Duran on the afternoon is 0 Coming into the game, he was, per average, the best hitter on this Bethany squad, batting .339. Swings and misses at that one. 1-1 count. Wheeler works exclusively from the stretch, breaking ball. Just misses low, I suppose. 2-1 is our count. Blue Jays trying to make a 5-run comeback. They are down 6-5. They were down 6-1. Beg your pardon, 6-2. Wheeler from the stretch. Duran head of that one, fouls it into his own dugout. 2-2 count. Duran really had a solid game, not at the play, but at third base. Has made a number of defensive plays. He made the play to rob Jason Wallace of a double down the line, a diving stop. Has made a number of nice backhanded plays as well outside of that. 2-2 count. Wheeler from the stretch. Breaking ball, waved and missed. And there you call it. That's the breaking ball he uses almost as an exclusive pitch. Rather, his fastball takes a complimentary side. It almost looks like it has a cutting action, but as you said, it's not a cut fastball. It is a slider.
It is a slider, and it's another one of those harder sliders. He pairs it with that big loopy 12-6 curveball that he throws. Works both off of his fastball a little bit, but primarily throws that curveball and that slider to get ahead of hitters, and then uses the fastball up late.
Blows the fastball by James Duvall. Duvall's 1 for 4 in the contest. 2 runs, 1 RBI. Batting .307 coming into today. Wheeler, weak contact. Jason Wallace charging from third base, fires to first baseman Cameron Pope and is able to retire. 5-3 put out as it will go into the scorecard. Good play there by Wallace charging. Duvall's pretty quick getting down the line, got him by a step. Braden Shrivner coming to the plate. Shrivner, 2 for 4, 1 RBI. Had a single off the wall in right field. And I believe that is Will Clark that is manning right field. Coming in for Van Diest. We are in the top of the 9th inning, 2 outs, 0-1 count to Braden Shrivner. Hayden Wheeler on the mound for the Blue Jays. Slider, a little bit low. Shrivner thought about swinging. Thought better of it. Good eye for him. One count from the stretch again. Wheeler throws that one. I believe it might have been a little bit high. And you said Wheeler works in the low 80s, mid 80s?
Low to mid 80s, but he doesn't throw that many fastballs, so when he does throw the fastball, it certainly looks a lot harder than it would appear on the radar gun.
That ball is shot down the left field line, but it is slicing foul. 2s across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the top of the 9th inning. Wheeler trying to keep the Blue Jays at a 1-run deficit. And a swing and a miss at a pitch in the dirt. Visitine fires down to Cameron Pope, who's able to retire him at first base. 3 up, 3 down. Hayden Wheeler dealing in the 9th. Blue Jays will have an opportunity to tie the game or win the game as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning here in Hillsboro. Blue Jays trailing 6-5. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning, beg your pardon. We have a pitching change for the Swedes. Coming on to close the game is Jason Nolan, a freshman from what state?
The state of Texas.
Houston. Let me get you some statistics on him. Nolan. On the season, leading off for the Blue Jays, is Freddie Walker. Nolan seems to have a fastball in the mid to upper 80s.
Certainly a flamethrower, but judging by his warm-up pitches, I'm not sure command is all the way there. But with velocity like that, it doesn't necessarily matter sometimes.
He has a 756 earned run average. He has pitched 8 1/3 innings. In those 8 1/3 innings, he's given up 12 hits, 7 runs. He's only walked 3, but he's also hit 3. So 2-0 count, Freddie Walker digging in. He showed bunt, pulled back. Strike is called. Fastball on the inside part of the plate. This is it for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the ninth inning, 2-1 count. And you have the top of the order up. And Freddie Walker, another ball goes by. 3-1 count.
The last thing Nolan wants to do in this situation is walk Freddie Walker. He's one of the best base stealers in the country. Having him on first base certainly complicates the rest of the inning for the Swedes.
Absolutely. You have to think Freddie might be taking here. And outside, and he walked him. On the season, Freddie Walker has 24 stolen bases. If that's not tops in the nation, it's number 2. Jay Alsop homered it in his last at-bat. He is 2 for 4 with 1 run batted in, 1 run scored, courtesy of that home run. Freddie Walker at first base. Freddie Walker represents the tying run. Jay Alsop represents the game-winning run. Nowlin from the stretch. Ball low. Alsop show bunt.
It'd be interesting to see if Alsop decides to lay down the bunt. Looking at how far in the third baseman is played, the Swedes are definitely prepared for it.
Nowlin, a right-handed pitcher from the stretch. Fastball. Alsop pushes a bunt to first base, and he's going to beat the pitcher covering first base. One of the harder plays in baseball is when a bunt is laid down the first base side. First baseman coming in. Pitcher was late off the mound, could not get to first base in time. Blue Jays have men on first and second, and Cameron Pope batting .457 on the season, coming to the plate. He is 0 for 3, but he has gotten on base via a walk.
No, I would.
He's definitely the batter that you want up. Nowlin from the stretch. It has been an eventful inning so far. Blue Jays are trailing 6-5. Men on first and second, nobody out. Pope at back, and he's going to bunt. And he bunts it to the pitcher, and he's going to be able to advance the runners from first and second to second and third now. And your best hitter, batting .457 on the season, lays down a sacrifice bunt. Shows a lot about his team first mentality. Jason Wallace, the California native, almost took one out of the ballpark in his first at-bat, deep to center field at the edge of the warning track. He's 0 for 2 with 2 walks today, and they're going to issue him a free pass. So here it is. Cody Steinman pinched hit in the 8th inning. Struck out in his only at-bat. Bases loaded. No one out. Tying run at third base. Winning run at second base. Coach Barrett Weaver, in his first season here at Bethany, is going to make the Lorenz call to the bullpen. High intensity here in Hillsboro.
It appears they're bringing in a left-handed pitcher to pitch to Steinman, who will also be hitting from the left side. Last time around, that worked out as Bannon struck out Steinman. We'll see if it continues to work this time around.
I think it's a smart move by the coach. He's bringing in Gus Lopez, the senior left-handed pitcher from Rio Rico, Arizona. Gus Lopez on the season has a .623 earned runs average. has pitched in 17 and a third innings, has given up 14 runs in those 17 and a third inning. 12 of those were earned. He has walked 7, struck out 15, so he can strike them out, averaging just a little bit less than 9 per 9 innings. Strikeouts, that is. He's a lefty, comes over the top very prominently as he's warming up. The Swedes in their gold-trimmed uniforms, blue numbers across the letters here, trying to steal one in Hillsborough from the Blue Jays. Again, they come into today's contest with 3-12 inside of conference, looking to steal one from Tabor, who's at the top of the conference, second. In fact, with a 14-3 record, Oklahoma Wesleyan is in first place with a 16-2 overall record in conference. But right now, Bethany holds the lead. And Reagan, right now with Cody up. What are you, as a hitter, I know you're a pitcher, but as a hitter, what are you looking to do right here? You got a left-handed pitcher. He comes over the top very prominently. What are you looking to do?
Well, if you're Steinman, what you want to do is hit a ball over the right field wall. What you should try to do is probably just try to keep the ball in play, make sure that you ensure that that runner on third scores in some way. It's not a bad idea to try to lift the ball, but a line drive to any part of the field would score that runner from third. Now, it's tempting to try to hit one out and win the game, but that's probably the best approach to take.
Lopez goes from the windup, the lefty. Breaking ball in the dirt. A good stop there by Scrivener.
And if you're going to throw that breaking ball first pitch to Steinman, it needs to be a strike because now down 1 ball to no strikes. He knows the next pitch coming is probably a fastball. In a situation like this, you cannot allow him to make contact.
Again, Lopez working from the windup. Steinman digging in the left-handed batter. Breaking ball this time finds the strike zone. 1-1 count.
He's really believing in that breaking ball to Simon. It's probably a product of them seeing how Bannon was able to handle him with the breaking ball in his last at-bat.
Again, from the windup is Lopez. 1-1 count. Steinman in the box. Another breaking ball in the strike zone. The count goes to 1-2. The last thing, as you said, Blue Jays need right here is a strikeout. The thing that the Swedes would love right here would be a strikeout or a tailor-made ground ball to either the second baseman or the shortstop. Bases loaded. 1-2 count from the windup. Gus Lopez. And Steinman waves and misses at that one. Strike out. And right here, Dominic Vicentine, the senior catcher from Oakley, California. 2 outs, bases loaded. You can't draw it up any better than this for the senior. High leverage situation for everybody involved, and including Reagan McLeod.
Indeed.
6-5 is our score. Gus Lopez goes from the windup, and he throws the ball low. Another breaking ball. He's almost thrown breaking balls exclusively since he's been out there.
Not the worst approach when approaching this Blue Jay lineup. Both the righties and lefties seem to struggle with the breaking ball a little bit more than the fastball.
Dom is 1 for 4 in this ball game. From the windup again. Dom swings at that one, pops it up, and it's going to get out of play right behind home plate. Dom on the season coming in is batting .263, but against left-handed pitching, he is batting .327. So he hits a little bit better against left-handed pitching. It's a lefty-righty matchup in Dom's favor. 1-1 is our count. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Blue Jays trailing by 1. Bases loaded. Defense playing him straight up from the windup. Gus Lopez, breaking ball right down the heart of the plate. 1-2 count. He has thrown nothing but breaking pitches. I'd assume he might try his luck at a fastball here.
It's a risky decision either way. If you throw a fastball and Dominic catches up to it, you feel like, you sped his bat up a little bit. And if you throw a curveball and he hits it, you feel like you gave it to him too many times. It's really a tough situation for the pitcher.
from the windup. Another breaking pitch. Dom, a slow roller down the third base line in no man's land. Dominic belly flops into first base, sliding there, and he ties the game with an infield hit, an unorthodox way of tying the game. But the game is tied. Bases still loaded. The Blue Jays have knotted the game up at 6. 1-2 count. Dom was able to get just a piece of that ball, and it was perfectly placed down the third base line. Third baseman Luis Duran thought about going to first, but it really was just hit slow enough that he had no play. He did not have a play at the plate. He was playing deep. He did not have a play at third base, and a very fortunate roll of the bounce there for the Blue Jays. We have a pinch runner. Is that Dallas Forno?
Number 20, pitcher Dallas Forno, running for the Blue Jays at first base. His only job is to not get picked off.
You know, at this point, he can just stand on the bag.
That would be in his best interest, yes.
So, Dom has done his job. Now Will Clark with the game tied. Bases still loaded. Gus Lopez on the mound. And Will Clark hammers that one deep to left field.
That's
you
gone.
can kiss that goodbye. You cannot draw it up any better than that. It's not just a walk-off home run. It is a walk-off grand slammy. First pitch, hanging breaking ball. Will Clark, who did not start this ball game, was inserted later in the game, played right field, hits a walk-off grand slam. Reagan McLeod, what was that?
I think he got all of that one, Charles.
Corder, I think your analysis is correct.
There's a lot of really fired up Blue Jays on the field. A great win for Tabor to sweep the series over the Bethany Swedes. As you can see, all the Blue Jays are extremely excited over on the field right now, especially Will Clark, who is drenched in water.
Blue Jays went down 4-0, then went down 4-1, then 5-1. And then eventually clawed it back. They were down 6-1, a 1-point score, 3 in the 8th, and 5 here in the 9th. And it all started. That play would not have happened if it wasn't for Dom Squiver down the third base line to set that all up.
You got to give it credit. You know, Dom had a swinging bunt and an actual bunt at some point in this game, something you're not used to seeing a catcher seeing, but Dom Visiting does it all.
Yeah, Dom Visiting does it all. They call him Johnny Flash. And that's it. That's going to wrap it up here in Hillsborough. The Blue Jays have a flair for the dramatics here in the 9th inning. Will Clark hits a walk-off grand slam, and the Blue Jays will be back here tomorrow against Central Christian. We will be broadcasting. First game starts at 1, and that will be followed by the second game. I believe it might be a 9-inning and a 7-inning game. We'll be back here tomorrow. Reagan, you might be with us. We'll see. Come back tomorrow. Blue Jays hopefully won't have to walk it off in the last inning.